Hello everyone, we're back with part 7 of Aquaphobia. So let's just get into it. There's not much more to say. Part 7, Enemies to Friends. Arthur didn't exactly wake up, but he definitely became hyper aware of his senses. He smelled the faintest smell of black coffee and what smelled like gingham. He felt warm, his cheek pressed against soft fabric and something familiarly comfortable in his hair. He heard the faintest sound of someone breathing, which he assumed was himself. Then he was aware of his body moving up and down because his supposed pillow was moving, as if it were breathing. His eyes fluttered open sleepily, and he took a moment to let the colors hit his eyes. He didn't remember having a black blanket or a knitted pillow, nor did he remember ever loving gingham. In fact, there was only one person he knew that loved the gingham scent that made him fall in love with the scent. And upon that connection, he slowly pushed himself up to see the said person sleeping peacefully, head resting against the back of the couch, curls falling over her fair skin, and her long black eyelashes decorated with small remnants of moisture. Had she been fine? Arthur wasn't really sure what to do or what had actually happened. He remembered hanging out with Natalia and Nicholas, and that was about it. Adrian had been mentioned, and he ran into someone waiting the box. That person must have been Adrian. No, you're up. A tired voice pulled the blonde out of his thoughts, his eyes looking directly at Adrian as she covered her mouth as she yawned, wiping her eyes with the sleeve of her sweater. I'd best be going now. She got up, the couch, grabbing her crutches by the couch arm. Wait, Arthur exclaimed, was so urgent that Adrian nearly dropped her crutches as she quickly turned around with a worried expression. Sorry, just... I hope I didn't say anything bad to you last night. He sighed. He watched her tilt her head to the side confusedly, then her eyes widened, a small smile on her lips. Don't worry, he said nothing. Adrian wasn't about to tell her ex about how he had cried, begging her not to go, being rather intimate with her. She knew that he was probably lonely, but she couldn't allow herself to go through this all over again. She couldn't allow him to gain that hold back. Arthur exhaled relatedly, smiling back up at the girl. Now, be off. She turned, ready to walk out the door before Arthur called for her again. Wait, he exclaimed, much like last time. This time, Adrian froze, not even turning to look at the mail. We need to talk about this. Please, he asked, and Adrian, as the feelings storm of emotions, churned in her stomach uneasily, taking from the sip. I, he stammered, taking a collective breath before talking again. Moved to a cafe just around the corner. I glanced at it. We ran into each other. Speaking for discussion, she hinted, silently letting out the breath she had been holding. Okay, so then, Arthur nodded, even though he knew Adrian couldn't see him. Spoke to him, Adrian opened the door and closed it. Adrian fell, eyes stinging and her stomach pained with guilt, sadness, and fear. She pressed her back against the door, feeling warm liquid on her face. Her eyes, she looked it away, looking at the moisture after realizing that she was crying. Hey, I'm crying. Why am I crying? She whispered almost inaudibly. She shook her head, sighing as she pushed off of the door, heading to her hotel. Luckily, it wasn't too big of a journey, arriving in her room with the door locked within 10 minutes. Adrian flopped onto her bed, pulling out her phone to check the time. Her eyes widened as she saw the results. 55 missed text messages, 11 missed calls, and 3 Instagram notifications, all from Sebastian. Man, she groaned, repeatedly calling her best friend. One barely sounded before the line clicked, and Sebastian's voice frantically yelled over the speaker. Oh my goodness, where did you put my bestie? Sebastian sobbed over the phone, causing Adrian to pull the phone away from her ear as she smiled. Sebastian was naturally theatrical and overly dramatic, though Adrian could tell that this was driven by his enemy. Fast, chill, and safe. She flipped on her camera, thus switching the call over to FaceTime. Sebastian stared at his screen to see that the cover was indeed okay. Then he asked, waiting expectantly for the girl to explain why she had been so negligent. Trying to decide between telling the broad overview or of what had actually happened, she finally decided. In a moment of despair, she decided on the latter option, burning and thrown herself into her pillows. Carter ran into me and he was intoxicated, so I went home. To meet with me today to decide trust in the night. I'm not sure how well I can handle this. I can't keep it together for me without wanting to cry. She looked into her and Neil's eyes widened without the thought. Oh, Sebastian whispered worriedly. Philip, my most boyfriend after proposing with mother, was the name Sebastian should have given his best friend, much like how Adrian had given him the nickname Darling. It wasn't anything romantic, but their friendship with each other was so close that they felt comfortable calling each other such an intimate and considered situation. Much like this one. Rude. I can come over if you want. Adrian shook her head frantically, wiping her eyes and looking down at them. I can do this. He called me mine. He acknowledged my name rather than a surname. He begged me to bring my fell into my arms, crying. Slowly, burning into our friendship, and then we started friendship too. Adrian admitted, hugging one of her own pillows to the chest tightly. Are you sure it's just friendship that we're missing? Sebastian was. No accusations held in his tongue. Adrian thought for a moment, but shook her head. No, we just weren't meant to be. Our friendship is what it is. How close we were before feeling was broken. We acted more like a couple as friends than we did when we were a sensible couple. Everything just got so many, and I thought it was all because I knew going into this. I would end up with. It was so unfair to me. He was so mad to see me. And this man was so sweet. I just found breathing. He stopped, taking a moment to breathe in slowly. Breathe. It may not matter to you, but he hasn't dated anyone seriously. Once after you two broke up, about 6 months later, Logan set him up on a blind date. The girl was nice for him, but he never seemed happy, so after the 4th date, he told her we should just be friends. I'm not sure about what happened, but that girl was never seen again. Sebastian looked uncomfortable reminiscing that memory, and it piqued Adrian's curiosity. She would have guessed that Bert had dated a lot more, but she wondered who this girl was. It's not really my business who he dates or who he dated. Adrian dismissed it, sighing. He's good at what he does. He's a clear man. I haven't dated anyone seriously since our breakup. I honestly can't say I've dated anyone since our breakup. But that's just because of work. Nope. Sebastian exclaimed, cutting her off and catching her attention. Do not tell me these lies. Sure, you might be busy, but you can't tell me your overwork is because of work. You know very well that label's because of your inner guilt. Adrian, honey, you don't have to feel guilty about any of this. Adrian stared at her best friend, eyes stinging as tears relentlessly poured from her eyes. I can't help it, she admitted, Sebastian's expression shifting into something full of worry and gentleness. I know, Dre. I know, he whispered, allowing time for the corporate to regain her composure. She was grateful, clearing her head before trying to find the words she needed to say. Hey, Beth? She bit nervously at her lip. Sebastian just smiled, giving her a small nod and urging her to continue. What should I do tonight? She asked. Sebastian contemplated the question, wanting to give the girl any sort of consolation that he could. Go tonight and talk to him, he said straightforwardly. Adrian was slightly taken aback by the answer, but she continued to listen, finding courage in his words. Tonight, go to the place you plan on meeting him at, and I think it should be best if you showed him how vulnerable you are right now. Sebastian whimpered, and Adrian was gone, completely startled and anxious by what her friend had recommended. What? In no way am I doing that. Pulled her knees close to her chest, half of her face buried in a soft, fuzzy throw blanket she had brought with her from home. Adrian, I think it was for the best, he exclaimed, sighing and carding his fingers through his hair. He used to think that he meant nothing to you, and he gets so ticked off any time anyone mentions that you two were hurt by the breakup, which I shouldn't be. Adrian all whined. I broke up with him. I shouldn't feel bad. Yes, you can, Sebastian nearly shouted. In the friendship, it was obviously whoever spoke loudest that was right. It might not look like it to most, but they were extremely vocal, even if words failed them. People listened to them by their voice and their voice alone. It didn't matter what they were saying. Adrian, you lost your best friend and your boyfriend the day you said goodbye. You were racked with guilt and grief and sadness. It is very obvious you blame yourself, and I think he doesn't believe that you are the same girl you were. The moment you broke up with him, he forced himself to see you as a stranger instead of a person with the insecurities. With the overthinking, with the overworking. I know a few of us have pointed out that you have suffered just as much as he had, and he gets livid with us the moment we speak of it. So tonight, no masking. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like venting, vent. You need to be honest because honestly, if you want your relationship to heal, he needs to see that you aren't any of the versions of women you imagine trying to replace you. Adrian stared at her screen, a question popping into her mind. What do you mean? She asked quietly. The question may have been broad, but Sebastian knew what she meant. He always knew what she meant. He sighed, looking apologetically at the phone. When you broke up with him and asked me to keep an eye on him, to extend mine and Ren's friendship to him, he struggled with not having you in flight, and he oftentimes referred to you as 3 different people. Ren, his childhood best friend, and the person he could laugh with, be competitive with, tease and make fun of. Adrian, his girlfriend and partner. and de la petite. The woman who broke his heart into infinitely small pieces. Adrian's eyes glossed over as she listened intently, everything making so much sense to her right now. So, tonight, showed him the girl who is super, the girl who wants everyone to be happy. Adrian bit her lip, closing her eyes and sighing through her nose. Okay, I'll try. The cold evening air sent chills down Adrian's spine, causing her to sink her gaze deeper into the warmth of her black tube scarf. Luckily, Parisian weather was a lot like weather in New York, so her comfortable winter attire worked perfectly with the weather. Butterflies filled her stomach as she neared closer to the cafe, hand trembling momentarily as she pushed the white French door open, a little bell ringing to indicate that another customer had entered. Adrian sent a warm smile to the cashier, who returned it a little too cheerfully. The cabaret searched the room and found the person she was looking for, dressed warmly and sipping what she presumed was black coffee. There was another cup by him, steaming and dolloped with whipped cream and marshmallows. Arthur looked up, greeting her with a nervous smile, pushing the cup in her direction gently. Sorry, I got here a bit early. I ordered you a German chocolate hot chocolate with a little bit of cream, extra caramel, whipped cream, and tiny marshmallows. I hope that was okay. He paused in between, having grown a little embarrassed, probably by the fact that he remembered her favorite winter drink. She had always preferred hot chocolate over coffee, and there was just something festive about drinking hot chocolate in the winter. Adrian smiled lightly, sitting across from the blonde and setting her black, double-breasted trench coat, black tube scarf, and black knit gloves aside, revealing her dark blue baggy sweater and black leggings. Thank you. She accepted the drink, taking a sip and enjoying how the hot liquid instantly warmed her body. She felt nervous, not sure how to act or what to say to Arthur. For a few minutes, Adrian couldn't bring herself to be present. She had never really thought he would be here, sitting across from the only person she had really cared about. But not like before. It was nice, but they were strangers. As she stole a small glance at him, she could see just how much he had changed, and for the better. He was more in tune with his emotions and was a lot calmer. He looked older, wiser. She wondered what could be said about her, but quickly discarded that thought. After all, was that something she really wanted to know? Arthur cleared his throat, causing Adrian to flinch slightly as she met his gaze. How's training going in New York? As I heard from you, you were finishing school at an elite tech school in Virginia, right? Adrian seemed taken aback by the question, but she smiled, allowing her shoulders to fall as the atmosphere's tension alleviated just the smallest amount. Yeah, I was in Virginia and traveled to New York for group training. I moved there nearly 5 years ago. It is a lot different, she admitted, earning a smile from the blonde. Oh yeah, right on, he chuckled, and Adrian couldn't help but smile, even if strong emotions churned underneath the surface. No, she wouldn't allow herself to break when the air was light, and she could breathe. Do you like training? Most of the time, yes, Adrian smiled. She continued on after seeing Arthur raise his eyebrows questioningly. It's intense and it's my life. I don't enjoy parties or nights out like everyone else, and I am a diver for my team. I must always strive for better. In other words, Adrian was young and new to her team. Yes, She had been with him for 5 years, but still, there was a lot of pressure on her to be better, especially given her size. She was small and petite and had a curvy body. She didn't have long arms or long legs. Indeed, to her body type, she wasn't lean like her other female teammates. He has a lot of pressure on her, the same expectations to swim faster, to be practically a stick figure when running. Still, she wouldn't trade her career for the world. You're still the same, you know? Arthur smiled. Arthur smiled slightly at his cup, tracing the rim with his finger. Pardon me? Adrian asked confusedly. If anything, she felt as if she had changed completely, did a full 180. She noticed she smiled and laughed less, and became more serious. For only the cameras did she smile for nowadays, and she hated going out in public. Arthur chuckled, still not meeting her piercing gaze. I said you were still the same. I looked up, and the moment that was meant, Adrian felt as if the room was closing in on her. She wanted to bolt, get outside so she could breathe. She felt trapped, and there was no way for her to escape this time around. Swim is your life. You're a perfectionist at heart, and you put yourself through endless hours of training. Arthur clarified, something she was internally panicking at his word choice. This must be killing you to stay away from what you are passionate about. Adrian couldn't look at him, her eyes already glossy. She just nodded, afraid that her voice would betray her and show Arthur that this was the moment she was driven. This is what she felt every time they had to say goodbye, and nights of crying, praying that Arthur would respond to her messages or that their schedules would align so that they could see each other, whether it be in person or on FaceTime. This wasn't a new feeling, and it was eating her up inside, especially now that she had no reason to feel like this. Arthur wasn't hers anymore. She broke up with him, and he didn't chase her, just as she had asked. That didn't mean that she stopped thinking about him. In fact, she never stopped thinking about him. But this time, she couldn't call him up on her phone and talk to him. She had to swallow her guilt and move on. She chose her career, and if she were honest, she doesn't regret choosing her career over her relationship. She doesn't regret having a relationship with Arthur. She regrets not sticking to her word and allowing their relationship to continue any further than their family dates. In the end, the decision to change their relationship into something of romantic meaning was Adrian's doing. Arthur respected her boundaries, and she turned back because it was Arthur, the childhood best friend, crush, and the love of her life. It is, she admitted when she felt as if her voice won't crack. There was an awkward silence that settled between the two, and it was driving Adrian mad. She never did really like the silence after she knew what having noise around was. It had become customary to her, and now she hated the silence. Arthur sighed, making Adrian flinch slightly. She never used to be that jumpy, so of course Arthur noticed, causing him to frown. He'd have to ask her about it later. Are you ready to talk about the past? Arthur asked, his words chosen very carefully. Adrian squeezed her fingers tightly, her nails pressing into her palm until she lost feeling the pain inflicted, releasing her hands and looking down at the small white crescent moons imprinted into her palm. She nodded, still not meeting Arthur's gaze. The blonde sighed distressed, running a hand through his wavy hair. I need to know what happened, he said, his voice calm yet serious. He had obviously been wondering what had happened for a while. We needed a break, Adrian said, appearing short and rude to the blonde when she was in fact trying not to fall into panic. All the insecurities from her high school days were flooding back in. All the fears, the loneliness, the hurt and sadness, regret and anguish. They were all there, making her want to burst into tears. Arthur frowned, his anger rising, but we kept it. A break? He laughed out a scoff. One day we were a happy couple, talking about moving in together, and the next, you spring at me that we are over and I should block you on every social media platform. He studied the girl, who couldn't even look him in the eye, and made him upset, angry, and sad. Was I simply not good enough for you? What? Adrian's voice came out empty, dark, and shattered. It slightly shocked the blonde, hearing the girl's voice sound so hollow. We were both suffering. Her words came out as knives to Arthur, his emotions building. This time, he knew how to control them. We were not suffering, he exclaimed quietly. Yes. Adrian nodded slowly. Yes, we were. We had been with each other since we were in diapers. Long distance was new to us, and it was breaking us. We would both long for the day we could be together, and when we would part, but secretly wait for the other to fall and know very well that will never happen. Adrian exhaled, suppressing his sobs. No, it wasn't like that, Arthur denied. I was happy. I knew that one day we would make it to the end, and we could be with each other for eternity. Our schedules conflicted. Adrian cut him off, sticking to the facts. She stuck to the facts. She could hold it together. I don't know about you, but I sure felt lonely, like it was burdening you whenever I'd call, empty whenever you didn't answer, jealous and hurtful, broken-hearted whenever I saw a post that included you. We were holding each other back. I knew that the moment you said you would. Adrian, stop. He cut her off this time around, making her freeze by the rough tone of his voice. You don't think I felt any of that? Adrian scoffed, squeezing her eyes shut tightly. What do you want me to say? Why do you think I broke up with you? She asked frustratedly. Arthur paused, leaning back in his seat. Honestly, I think you broke up with me because you couldn't handle it, being in a relationship and being its friend. When I expressed what I wanted to do, you shut me down because you don't want to be a part of that. Adrian kicked him presumably in the shin from under the table, causing him to hiss in pain and grab his leg. Yelling, "Hey, what was that?" He stopped, looking up to see Adrian looking at him, tears continuously flooding down her face. Her teeth sinking into her bottom lip to keep her from audibly sobbing. He felt sick being her like that, and hated being her like that. You were wrong. She trembled, her voice quiet. She looked down to hide her face, and that's when Arthur noticed the small puddle of clear liquid on the edge of the table. Tears. You wanted a family to pull me and get rid of all your hard work. I can't give you what you want, and I will never be the reason why you couldn't pursue your dreams. Adrian, Arthur whispered, but it went unheard by the culprit. I can't give you children. I don't know the first thing, being a mother or a wife, and like I said, people help each other. But don't you go thinking that I broke up with you because I hated you. I don't think I would have been able to leave Paris if we kept in contact. Adrian gasped, feeling herself being pulled into a tight hug. then they lose into deep sleep, filling her senses. Familiarity and comfort making her flown to the embrace, tears soaking into Arthur's shirt. It killed him to hear her cry. Her sobs were inaudible, but his body shook from them still. He got his clarity and didn't feel like pushing any more questions about her personal life. Can we be friends again? He asked nervously, waiting for any small sign of an answer. Then he flipped a small nod rub against his chest. He smiled, familiarity making him relax as he pulled to his sensible. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Alright, that's it for this chapter. I'm sorry if the audio is kind of off. I'm using the new recording platform and I'm still working out the audio for it, but hopefully it's good enough to hear. I tried repeating some of the things if I noticed it went undetected by the mic, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll get better. But that's it for part 7. I hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for part 8. Thank you.